Today I'm with Jules Sutherland, who is from Perpetual Mojo.
Hi.
I'm so excited to have you, Jules.
Oh, it's so beautiful to be here with you, my lady.
I wanted to tell you this funny thing, that I sometimes do these loving kindness meditations, and there's this one part where you send it out to the community. And whenever I think of Melbourne community, your face is always the forefront. And it's really beautiful. So to me, you're like this symbol of community. And I thought
I just got full body squishies.
squishies. But I wanted to start there, community. For some reason, that's what I equate you with. And what does community mean for you?
Oh, wow. What a beautiful starting question. Thank you. You got me right in the heart from the start. Yeah, community for me is really about when people can really appreciate the unique qualities and the individuality that lives within each other, that the fabric that we co-create when we come together in spaces, formal or otherwise, where we're able to just dance with the natural, unique beauty in everybody, that they're the threads of connection that are really profound as far as I'm concerned. And that's what I look around at this Melbourne community, and I'm constantly in awe of just how beautifully woven this tapestry is, how many threads there are, and how we're continuing to deepen and to celebrate that unique essence in each other. And so that's for me, every interaction is a co-creation, and it's a unique co-creation of the two or the three or the however many parties are involved. And so once you start multiplying that by tens and 50s and hundreds and up to, I'm sure there's thousands of people that we're all connected with, that it's that for me is where community exists, is in that being. A big part of my motivation for starting Mojo was my belief that we all yearn for and deserve to be seen, heard, felt and loved for the unique and amazing beings that we each are, and that we've all got this unique piece to bring to the overall tapestry, whether that's a dance community or the population of this city, or this neighborhood, or a family, or on a global scale. It's we've all got this piece that nobody else can bring. And so it's that celebration for me of the something that's so much more than the sum of its parts, because there's that co-creation in each interaction, that then the power of that just keeps expanding exponentially. And that's what I see, these beautiful kind of sacred geometric patterns that sort of filter, that just keep expanding and evolving as we're all evolving, and as this web that we're weaving is getting brighter and stronger.
Jules, that is so beautiful. I feel really moved.
My dance event, or Mojo dancing event, its byline is the dance of connection, but that for me that's only really a metaphor. The dance of connection for me is a metaphor for life, for everything, because it's everything's dancing with everything else in this existence. And so it's such a beautiful pleasure to be able to focus that down into a literal dance floor. And it's been a bit over 2 years now we've been doing this, and it just keeps growing and becoming more and more juicy and deep as we go. So yeah.
Can you tell me more about the philosophy behind Perpetual Mojo?
Yeah. The reason why I call it Perpetual Mojo, obviously, it's a slight play on words of perpetual motion. But the best thing that any teacher ever said to me, which you have those teachers that we can all read the same thing said by a million different people, or dozens of different teachers or gurus or whatever across across time, but it's sometimes when one person says it, it just lands.
Yeah.
And Bruce Lyon, who's an absolutely amazing man and one of my most favourite, most treasured teachers, he was talking about how the natural ecstatic life force that is electromagnetic energy, that is everything that binds the universe together, that binds the atom together, it's the same thing, right? And it's what binds us together. That we have in personal development, you know, so many different practices for making things happen, for you know, raising our kundalini, or you know, really pushing through the walls of what is keeping us from being in our fullest, most natural, exuberant expression. But what he did, and something in the way he said it, kind of flipped it around to, we're already complete. We're already blazing at this amazing level that can't get any stronger. All we can do is drop the stuff that's in the way and just keep kind of allowing ourselves to keep unfolding from this place, as opposed to sort of trying to push our way through, you know. And so it's that for me was like, my whole life I've been fascinated by what that indefinable thing is that unites us all. And yeah, like some people call it electromagnetic energy, some people call it God, some people call it oneness, some people call it charge or sexuality or creativity. It's all the same thing. And I like Mojo because for me it kind of unites both the depth and the sacredness of it with a sexy kind of, gives it a flavor that most of us can relate to. That I in my drive and my mission, I guess my desire is for as many people as possible to really tap into the depths of their own power and to allow that to express, so that we can all, you know, claim our place in this fabric of existence and keep it evolving, you know, at the rate and in the directions that we want humanity to evolve. And so I guess the center of this is the fact that nobody can ever really teach us anything, you know. It's all here. It's just a matter of, right, how do we unlock that? And so for me, for Mojo, the center of it, or the essence of it, is really in about the celebration of who we are, and essentially it comes down to the question of what turns you on. You know, it's like, what turns you on? And then, because once we're alive and alight and tapped in, that's our direct line to this source energy, whatever you want to call it. It's like it just starts rippling naturally through us. We don't have to make anything happen, because I mean, as we know, we are all interconnected anyway, and it's like we can't be separate from this source energy, whatever name it wants to go by. But our lived experience is often that we are separate, because that's the human condition, you know. This is what we kind of signed on for when we came here, I guess, is this whole dance between feeling separate and coming back to connection. And so for me, the notion of a perpetual mojo is that it's our own connection to source, and how we can use the stuff that turns us on, the really juicy, exciting stuff that makes us feel passionately alive, which is different for everybody. And when individuals who are turned on come into connection, it's like, as we were talking before, that's when it just naturally starts unfolding. And this is that. For me, nothing turns me on more than imagining seeing humanity just lighting up. And it's like, and we're seeing it, you know, it is happening.
Oh, Jules, thank you so much for your work and your gift, and like how it's rippling out. And I can really just, the words that you use of lighting up, I can see how lit up you are, and it's like connected to your mojo. And I guess it fits so well with this project of like the call to aliveness of what brings you alive. And it's like, it sounds like through your workshops and just through your everyday practice, you have so many ways to tap back in to your mojo.
Well, personally for me, my kind of triple thread of mojo is sensuality, art, and spirit. And there's a whole lot of stuff I could say on sort of unpacking the word spirit, because it's not actually a word that I use in my work, because a lot of people have an association with that being a religious thing or woo-woo, kind of stuff, that actually when I'm talking spirit, I'm just talking life. Like, it's like how we're connected to the fabric of existence is what I mean by spirit. And so, yeah, I'm actually just in a process very presently at the moment for me of really reclaiming my truth as an artist as well. It was my existence for a long time. Performing arts was just where I was and what I did and what turned me on, and it still does. It's been that for the last couple of years while I've been building Mojo. My focus has had to be there. But the irony is not lost on me that the whole premise of Perpetual Mojo is to support people to live their passions and to embody their passion. That it would be hypocritical of me to not, give my creative passion the same time and attention. So I'm just starting to come back out in this regard, and so yeah, watch this space. There's some cool stuff brewing, and it's like it's embryonic at the moment. But what's really coming through for me at the moment too is the fact that all of these parts of my life aren't. They're not only are they not separate, they actually don't want to be compartmentalized anymore. It's like I personify everything because it's just easier to talk to it that way. And so it's like Mojo and performing have just been going, we're the same thing, just just make it happen, And the form might look a little different,
You're such a multi-passionate being, Jules.
Oh, well, that's the thing. I mean, what turns us on and what lights us up is it. I'm really glad that it's not just one thing. I did, like, when I was growing up, I used to, and for a long time actually, probably pretty much through my 20s and a lot of my 30s, I had real envy for people who had one clear passion. They made it their living, they just went out there, and it was kind of like there's no distraction from that because the path is quite clear if there's just the one goal. Whereas I was going to say I have pathological FOMO. It's like, I just need to, but I want to do that too, and that, and that, and that. And for a long time sort of struggled with, does that mean I'm just never going to actually finish or achieve anything or get anywhere, Whereas now I'm seeing more that the more eclectic and diverse our passions are, the more colours we've got to bring to this, to whatever it is that we're doing. And I suppose what I've done is I've stopped seeing existence as a linear path, and that there's somewhere to get. That whole "are we there yet" is such a strange but very present part of being a human. Yeah. I just keep looking around and going, oh, that's where that person's up to. Am I there? No, I'm not there, but I'm not on their path, so what does it matter,
The other thing I was interested in was you're mentioning that you dialogue with parts of yourself. I'm a big fan of doing that kind of work. But I know also that's a part of your Mojo dance, is like working with archetypes.
Yeah, it's actually, it's interesting because when I first started Mojo, we worked specifically with these archetypes that I use, that I call my inner tribe, which are the nurturer, the leader, comrade, confidant, and the lover. Then last year I ran a couple of, or a few, in a few different forms. I ran a process that I call Living the Lover, which is essentially about partnering with life by taking it as lover or beloved. But that in any relationship, all of the rest of these archetypes present. So, for example, if you're in relationship, the nurturing element, we all want to be able to give and receive nurturing in well, ideally in any relationship, whether that's an intimate relationship or whether that's in a working relationship or whatever, that to be able to both hold the qualities of the healthy nurturer and to receive those as well. That the beauty of this framework is that once we start looking at life through these lenses, and that's like, life or the universe or mojo or whatever you want to call it, is so vast that for me, I've been having existentialist crises since I was a kid, and just, I want to know what's going on, and I just want to be able to see how it all fits together. And so I find personifying things a really powerful practice, because it suddenly takes it from the infinite to something that is tangible. And so where with the Living the Lover work, which I'm from October, we're running it as a 5-week course, which I'm very excited about. It's that feels like the best container for it. And with the process being that we're able to look at life through these lenses, so that there's this constant feeling of being in co-creative existence and in relationship with life. I mean, we all have a relationship with life, whether we choose to make it conscious or not. And so, my feeling is, let's make it as conscious as possible, but then as well as it being, life as lover and beloved, it's like, well, what are the qualities of lover and beloved that we want to be able to dance with? So then through the processes of deepening these archetypes, we're then able to be able to see that when life throws us curveballs or whatever, it's like, okay, this is, I really like that quote, life's not happening to you, it's responding to you. That rather than it being, oh, well, we deserve everything we get, and all of that, so I'm not sort of championing that notion so much as the fact that life is responsive to us. And so if we are able to dialogue with it in a way that works for us, and to be able to say, like, for me, sometimes it's like I can be, so much in my hummingbird of going, oh, I'm just going to do this and I'm going to do this. But I do need some structure and focus, right? And that's when I call out the comrade to just kind of go, okay, firstly, the leader will help me sort out what's due north, where are we headed, where do we actually want to go with this? And then the comrade's like the part of me that's there beside me going, I've got your back, but I'm also not going to put up with any of your shit. So it's kind of like that beautiful tough love relationship that we have with various people. And what's been fascinating is that since a few months ago when I started, because we've run a little pilot version of this course while I sort of played with it and jammed with it, which was really fun. And in doing that, as anything, when we put work out there, it's like certainly been my experience that it's a call to account for me to embody it more and more deeply. And what I've been finding is that the deeper I go with these archetypes, the more these really profound qualities are turning up in my external world. Like I suppose that by this notion of the responsive universe, it's like that can't help but magnetize. If that's what's going on in my inner world, then it's going to turn up in my outer world. And what's been really fascinating for me most recently, actually, I was just saying to a friend last night, is that once upon a time, I had certain people that I was like, yep, they're my comrades, they're my confidants, they're my leaders, they're my nurturers, but now it's like the lines are so blurred, because there are so many people who are holding all of those qualities and we're sharing on all of those different levels, that it doesn't, again, that compartmentalization of life, friends or, passions, it's like it seems to be, I feel like we're at a place of confluence where it's all sort of starting to come together. So that for me just brings us back to where we started, really, with the whole notion of community, and something that I didn't say then that feels now like it's worth sharing is that what I feel is different is that we're moving out of a sense of hierarchy and into like the true sense of community is not so much about having linear or triangular structures of hierarchy and, you know, clear leaders and followers. I feel like there's this constant sharing of wisdom and knowledge, and we're all evolving and learning from each other all the time, and that for me is where so much of the juice of community is in, as we were saying, you know, honouring that unique piece that we each bring, but also not just honouring it, but really learning from it and gleaning like this. Okay, this person's holding this particular quality as the wisdom of their experience. You know, whether you know we're out there actually literally facilitating or doing something that looks like teaching, where as we're working on this work of art that we each are as a human being, and that's the thing, that all of this personal self-inquiry that so many of us are on, it's like we're embodying our wisdom more and more and more, and so there's a constant, just, I feel like, you know, if this is the school I've always wanted to go to, really, because it's just like, you know, I come in here and I get wisdom from you, and it's just kind of like, oh wow, awesome, you know. So it's like, it's all, yeah, it's now become part of what I have to draw on. So yeah, this is the evolution that I feel is taking place. It's so exciting.
It is so exciting. And I have a question or a wondering about, like, because it feels like it's such an empowering frame of this kind of like, we have something to learn from all of the people in our lives and our community, and something to share too. Is there some way that you like remember that in your everyday life, like call that into your awareness?
I try to remember, you know, in any interaction, that everybody has something to offer us, and that there's an experience that is available to be had, and there's wisdom available to be gleaned if we allow it, if we can open and let it in. And so, you know, whether that's something as you know, specific as you and I sitting down and having a conversation, and the conversation is the co-creation, or whether that's, you know, speaking to the guy at the bus stop who's asking for money, you know, and whether or not we have money to give him. It's like I try to, and I'll be the first to admit I'm not always the best with this, because sometimes I just want to be in my world and, you know, whatever, but that feeling of like, we're all a reflection of each other, plus we also all have something to learn from each other. So I try to remember as best I can, and to do the best I can to try and meet people in the space beyond the surface and beyond the kind of the first layer of the onion, I suppose, and to feel into that place where we are all connected, and where we are all passionate beings who yearn to be seen, heard, felt and loved for our unique passion and the way that we uniquely express that.
Yeah, such a perfect way of putting it, like the underneath the first layer of the onion, that core.
Yeah.
Oh, Jules, thank you so much. I feel so, yeah, your aliveness is contagious.
Oh, as is yours, beautiful. It's always such a pleasure to be in your company, in your big, beautiful, warm, loving heart that just opens me up immediately. Strength, courage, and wisdom.